So, forgive the hair if it's messed up. Um, can't get back to sleep, so I threw my shirt back on and turned the camera on. Part of why I can't get back to sleep is indigestion due to oregano. Too much oregano in the lasagna. So, I figured I'd talk about some of the things that are on my mind. If you were in a Skype call with me in the past 24 hours, just watch a different video because I probably already said this to you. I just want to get it out on a video so everybody knows how I'm feeling. Um, yeah, the government shutdown has really fucked with my business. Um, Spending all over my city has ground to a halt. 19% of the workers in my city uh, are laid off because of the government shutdown. They're furloughed. And that's 50% of the families in my city, in the city proper, not on the military bases that we're surrounded by. Um, that's NORAD, Fort Carson, uh, the two Air Force bases, Peterson and Shriver, and then the Air Force Academy. Yeah, we are pretty much a military town. Um, so, yeah, all the civilian workers didn't get to be paid like the soldiers who got a special bill to pay for them. Although the soldiers are still being coached by their their officers. You know, everyone who's in charge of their units are coaching them right now. Do not spend money. Don't let your spouses spend money because that whole debt ceiling that's looming. You know, that extra bill that was passed to pay the soldiers means shit if that debt ceiling thing doesn't happen because military pay, social security, a whole bunch of other shit is still stuff that has to be paid that wouldn't be able to be paid and they'd have to prioritize and shit. So, still, until all of this is settled, no one's spending any money in my city. So, what it's done to foot traffic alone in my store is bad. Also, sales are way down, down below where I can really manage it if this continues throughout the year. And then I saw today that there might be a deal to push everything back to January 15th. You know, kick the can down the road just a little bit further again without really solving anything. Which, at least that's after the Christmas shopping season, you know? And I know that's really selfish of me to be thinking about that, but I'm also selfish for every small business in the entire country, some of which will not survive just this 2 weeks that we've had so far of this shutdown. That alone is going to kill a certain number of small businesses. And who knows if my city will recover enough for my business to survive, you know, on through next year if, you know, you don't have that period of time when all businesses go from being in the red to in the black, you know. We've all heard of this, right? Where all the spending seems to happen around that time. There's the Christmas shopping season, and then there's a smaller little peak called Moms, Dads, and Grads that happens around May and June because of Mother's Day, Father's Day, and graduations, right? It's a lot smaller than the Christmas shopping season, the holiday shopping season, and I doubt a lot of small businesses will make it past this if they were struggling beforehand or just starting like mine. So this is really upsetting me. I can't sleep. I got like 4 hours of sleep just now, and then I was tossing for about an hour. I thought I was about to get back to sleep. Felt like it. And then I started to dream, and I was in a van in my dream. And all of a sudden I was in the back seat, but like it was like the front seat just kind of stretched back to the back seat, right? And I could see out the front windshield as the van was just starting to slow down and pull into another lane. And I was like, ah! And just my heart racing inside the dream woke me up. So, yeah, work stress and oregano do not mix. Fucking oregano. Nobody ever cooked me anything with oregano ever again. Fuck. Yeah, and 13 Heathens in a Skype call just about an hour ago, he told me that it would be a pretty common interpretation, a pretty obvious one, that it's my feeling that there's things beyond my control at my workspace, especially because I felt like I was on that busy street that heads to my job that I drive every day with my commute. So, yeah, I can see that. Also, it could just be too much fucking oregano. But now I'm up. I watched a bunch of videos about the shutdown and all the rhetoric. Had some arguments with somebody online because I had a meetup event which was just chat about the government, and this person likes to think that my politics in the past have been something that brought about this government shutdown, and we're just discussing that back and forth. There's nothing that I can do to end the shutdown, and I really hope that when the shutdown ends, that all of those people who were furloughed in my city get back pay, and that's one of those points that'll be very, very important. If they don't get that back pay, what has the damage that has already been done will be even more severe, because there are things that people do when they stop getting paid. They they do things that are very short-sighted in order to bridge that gap. Things that they'll give up things that they spent a lot of money on in the past that they use in their daily lives. They'll pawn them. They'll sell them to pay their bills. To go buy groceries. WIC and food stamps aren't getting funded. That's how bad this shit is, right? So people will sell things that they need for other things in times of money flowing in my city, because most of these people are government workers, right? Or related to government workers in some way. Even even those numbers that I threw out at you earlier are not correct, because I know one guy, Calvin, who works for a security company. He's a contractor, and he's laid off, and he doesn't count in that 19% because he's not a direct government worker. So, like, it's a lot worse than what I said. My city is dead right now. Okay? Fucking dead. All contractors are not allowed on post. They're like no money. So yeah. Yeah, I lost where I am. It's that late, and this is a scary, scary time. I mean, to see the amount of empty buildings up and down the main strip in my city, and how I attempted with my business to fill one of those buildings, and still there are a lot that are empty, and nobody will take that entrepreneurial leap to start something, because we are at the whim of a shutdown like this happening. And if they kick the can down the road again, and this will just come right back up in January, then nobody's going to want to start a business here. You know, it makes everybody just so unwilling to try anything. Unwilling to risk anything, and so I have no idea what it's going to do to the stock market when people have no confidence in things not going right back to a deadlock. Um, I will talk about a little bit of microeconomics, though. Just get this out of my system. This is something else that I have already said to my friends in Skype, but it's something that needs to be immortalized in a ramble on my channel. I had a good day on Saturday at my business because we had a Halloween party and craft fair. And you can find links to this online, you know, Facebook events and shit, if you really want to search and find what I'm talking about. But basically, I threw out an ad on Craigslist to find an event organizer who just would like to throw a craft fair in some empty space in my business, just to get some foot traffic going, just to have something to promote, you know, and directly from vendor fees for their spots. We did not take any of that money. That went right to the event organizer. We were like, here's a spot for free, run an event, we'll promote it, just get people coming in the door, you know. So many of the crafters, now look at the screen if you were just listening to my voice, I'm throwing up the air quotes here, crafters, many of them did not make their own crafts. They were part of what they like to call network marketing companies. And when I say that, I don't know that some of you will recognize that term, that euphemism, as it's being used. Basically, Avon, Amway, Mary Kay, Pampered Chef, all of those are network marketing. Basically, you have parties and you invite all your friends because your friends are more likely to buy from you, like mercy purchases, or maybe just they see something that they like and they'd rather buy from you because you're a friend. You have that in with them already. They're your friend. Well, these network marketing people who were there, they outnumbered the actual crafters who made their handmade crafts. And it was the handmade crafters that were doing a little bit better than the network marketers at this craft fair. But here's the numbers as they went. During the time that the craft fair was going, 82 people walked through the door, right? And I was not running the craft fair. The event organizer was. So I was at my till at the cashier's desk. I did have to do a lot of things to help out the fair, like somebody locked one of the bathrooms, and I had to unlock it. And turns out they had a good reason, because they really stunk it up because something died in their ass, and I had to light a candle. And it's a dick move, even though I think that it was trying to save people from running into that wall of stench. It's still a dick move to lock the fucking bathroom so that nobody else can use it. Luckily we have more bathrooms, but while I was handling stuff like that, I was keeping account of everyone who walked through the door, right? People who were helping others carry stuff, I considered vendors just as much as the vendors themselves. So I put a little V underneath everyone who I considered part of the vendors, right? So out of those 82 people, 24 of them were considered by me to be part of the vendors. It could have been more, because I was just eyeballing them as they walked through the door. It could have been that I missed a couple that should have been considered part of the vendor crew. But 24 of them, definitely, without a doubt, I put a little V underneath their tick mark on my whiteboard. Now, when I got home after this craft fair, off the top of my head, I tagged a bunch of people. And while I say this, I'm about to check my own Facebook. I made a Facebook post where I tagged a bunch of people. And I tagged them because they're Facebook friends of mine. They're friends that I invited to the craft fair and Halloween party. Right? So 15 people I see that I tagged, right? And after that, I remembered 5 other people that I'm Facebook friends with that I forgot to tag in that post. But I tagged them all as being, I checked them in with the Facebook check-in, right? So that's 20 that are Facebook friends of mine. I had another 10 that are too old to use Facebook. I'm the vice president of the Freethinkers of Colorado Springs, which is, by and large, the skeptics group for people with silver hair. So, I know a lot of people who don't use Facebook, but still like to come out to things to support me. So, I've just accounted for 30 of the people that walked through the door were friends of mine. Okay? And with the normal traffic for the time period that it was of that fair, I can pretty much determine that remainder that I didn't call in specifically but still showed up, that would have happened anyway on a normal Saturday during a shutdown. That foot traffic would have happened anyway. Alright, so we've got 25 or so vendors, 30 or so people that I invited, right? We've got how many left? About 25, right? And out of that 25, I know 2 of them showed up for Darlene, who is a vendor at my market every day, but she also had a table at that fair. One of them showed up for Cinnamon. Not a stripper name, that's actually her real name. And she's a nice person. One showed up for her. One showed up for the event organizer, Rainu. So I could tell that they actually personally invited those people. The rest, pretty much, that's about how many people would have walked in during that time just as regular shoppers, not for a special event like a craft fair. Just the regular shopping foot traffic during that fair. And what I can tell from this is all of the vendors that they had, besides those who I just named, did not contact their friends, did not do any of that personal marketing to draw people in. You know, they instead were relying on the event organizer to do all of the promotion to get people to come in. And what I've learned in this very short time doing stuff like this at my store is that flyering things doesn't work. People throw flyers away. Doesn't matter how many flyers you pass out, you're going to get about a 1 per 1,000 if you actually energetically spread these flyers around. You have to work to even get that ratio. Okay? Radio and TV aren't working. Just inviting people with clicking on Facebook and considering them invited does not work. You need to actually personally call these people if they're your friends and you want them to show up to something. And these are lessons that anyone who is involved in network marketing should know. If you don't personally invite people, you're going to have a horrible turnout, right? So there were a couple of people there who were ecstatic at the amount of people that came in. First, the number of vendors that were there that we were able to get, plus just the normal foot traffic and the people that I called in were way more than they could get with their own network marketing. People just don't make personal friends like they used to, you know? A lot of people don't even know who their neighbors are. 30% of Americans, I heard somewhere, don't even know one of their neighbors. So I can understand how some of these people who they just want to try a business. They don't even have a craft, okay? They just jump onto some other business that they think will sell because their main interest is trying anything in this horrible fucking economy to try to make a fucking buck, okay? So they get into a business and they don't have any friends, and it's a network marketing business. I just want to say that the vendors that showed up to our fair, I feel like by and large they failed to really understand that no, you can't just pay a vendor fee, set up a table, and expect for that fee to be in this awesome place where all you have to do is set your stuff out and people will buy that shit up. Okay? That doesn't work anywhere. You must be active. The next part of my rant about them is that my brother, Jeffrey, he's showed up in 10 or so of my videos. Doesn't really like to be on this channel. He showed up with his daughter and his son. His daughter's 8, his son is 5. Okay? He secret shoppered everyone there. Okay? They didn't know who he was. They didn't know that he was the brother of the guy that owned the place. He doesn't look a lot like me because I'm fat. Okay? He's not. So he's walking by all these stations, all these booths that they had set up around the building, and 1 out of the 20 gave him a sales pitch that he considered worthy of salesmanship. 1. There was one booth there that was not selling anything. It was just about getting information out about birthday parties, where you spend $150, right? And you get an hour and a half of this presentation. And the presentation is made with Legos, and it teaches physics to kids, right? And some of these Legos have like spin art, and the booth had like these paper plates that you could put the spin art with Legos, and then it would make a little art on the paper plate, and she gave them to my niece and nephew. But that was after my brother walked by her booth, and she did nothing to catch his attention. And he had an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old with him. She didn't go grab him and say, "Hey, you need what I'm offering." And when she was doing her demonstration of her bat and her spin art thing, at no point did she say what she was there to do, which was to get out information about her birthday parties. I had to tell my brother after the fact, after the fair, what she actually sold, because he's like, "What was she selling? None of the Legos were for sale. I would have bought some for my kids." You know? So, yeah, after the fair, I actually went up to her, because I really do appreciate teaching physics to kids. So I took some of her flyers and I put them at the front of my store just to be there on every day, you know, just to help her out. You know, the flyers will stay there in that little flyer section of my store at the front near the till. The program is called Bricks for Kids, and it's actually a Lego endorsed thing. They have their own network marketing branch now. So, yeah. There was another lady. I don't even want to say the names here, because in this instance, I think that she wouldn't want me saying the names. I'll just put it that way. But this product that this person has pictures of her dog, right? Which is a very niche market. I don't have to understand things if they sell, and apparently they do sell in other places. But my brother and his 2 kids walked by her station, and she didn't say anything to stop them. She was one of the 19 that did not have a sales pitch to stop them, you know. The only reason why there was any interaction later was because my niece and nephew saw that the dog was there, the dog that was in the postcards. And they went up to pet the dog, and that started a conversation. But just like the rest, my brother was able to walk right by the front of that table with all the products, some of which had nothing to do with the dog, but no sales pitch. None. And at this point in this Ramble video, I'm going to let you in on my observations of different types of shoppers. The people that come to my market day after day, the people that would have showed up on this day as regular foot traffic, they are not there to haggle. They are the type of shopper that do not like to be hovered over. Like, if I were to follow someone and talk to them through the store, they won't pick up anything and buy it. They're the kind of shopper that likes to be left alone. Now, there is another place in town very close to where my market is where people like to haggle. It's called the flea market. And at the flea market, you get that quarter of all people in the world who really like to have that interaction of butting heads and trying to get that deal, right? So you go to the flea market if you're that type of person. You're looking for that deal. And I've had people